So I had to look up some of the details because I watched a lot of these movies as a really young man. When I say really young, I was probably maybe around 5 or 6. That's the first time I can recall watching the Conan movies. The first one was released on May 14th, 1982, of course, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it was based on the sword and sorcery stories first published in 1932. The follow up films Conan the Destroyer, June 29th, 1984, and Conan the Barbarian, released August 19th, 2011, starring Jason Momoa. I haven't seen that one, but that first Conan series, oh man, I was so enamored, which is partly what interested me in the comic books when I first started reading comic books. So obviously, I'm saying all that to say that this story right here clearly got my attention. So let's get into this from comicbookmovie.com. Now, I did not even know this was going on. Arnold Schwarzenegger says King Conan is moving ahead with director Chris McQuarrie, confirms Predator talks. King Conan lives. Legendary action star Arnold Schwarzenegger has shared exciting updates about several projects that would see him reprise some of his most iconic roles, including one of the most uh, thought to be shelved for good, uh, including one that was thought, to be shelved for good a couple years back. The Terminator star spoke to the ArnoldFans.com during this weekend's Arnold Sports Festival in Columbus, Ohio, and revealed that the elusive King Conan movie is moving forward at 20th Century Studios with none other than Christopher McQuarrie on board to write and direct. Now, I don't know much about this director, but I do know Arnold Schwarzenegger is that dude, or at least was that dude. Let me increase this size here. Was that dude at one point when it came to movies, especially when I was younger. When I was younger, Arnold, if an action movie had Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, you pretty much knew this is getting ready to be a banger. This is gonna be a banger all the way around because Arnold Schwarzenegger, he had that it factor. I always say not everybody has that it factor, but Arnold Schwarzenegger definitely had it. You put him, oh, I didn't mean to switch scenes there, excuse me. You put him in a movie, and I'm telling you, it was guaranteed to be an absolute hit. I'm trying to think if there were any movies that came out during this period right here, that early Conan action movies from Arnold, Terminator, etc., that were flop. I'm pretty sure he had some movie somewhere in there that was a flop. I just can't think of it. But I wonder if he's gonna be Conan again, or if he's gonna be like an elder Conan with a son that takes over, what he was doing. Let's see. They just hired a fantastic writer, director who did Tom Cruise's last four movies. Tom Cruise puts out some bangers, so maybe this is a good thing. They just hired him to write and direct King Conan. Now what they do is that they write the part. They don't write them like I'm 40 years old. You write it to be age appropriate. I'll still go in there and kick some, but it'll be different. So it's going to be him reprising his role as Conan, and he's going to be doing his thing, but as an older man. So they're going to write it where it's appropriate. This can be done, and we definitely see that this can be done with Top Gun Maverick. I always point back to that movie. Yo, I'm telling you, that movie is the standard of a movie that came out in, when did that first Top Gun movie come out? Early 80s? Top Gun original. Let me see. Was it released? I'm pretty sure it was. The early 80s. Yeah, 1980s. Well, I guess mid 80s. 1986. Great movie. And the 2022. Now think about that. From 1986, and the sequel comes out in 2022, and it felt like there was no break. It was just done masterfully. I oh my goodness, did I enjoy that movie. And it's not because it was the best movie ever created. It was just so faithful to that original that it was done well. And I'm assuming that's what they're trying to do here. And they might pull it off. We'll see. Says with King Conan, it's it's a great old story that Conan was 40 years as king, and now he gets forced out of the kingdom, and there's conflict, of course. But somehow he comes back, and there's all kinds of madness, violence, magic, and creatures and stuff like that. And now, of course, there's all kinds of special effects. The studio has plenty of money to make those movies really big. So I'm looking forward to all those projects. I hope they don't go overboard with the special effects, especially with Arnold Schwarzenegger reprising this role. I think they would do better by not going so crazy with the special effects and keeping with the tone of the original movies. Obviously making it updated. You want modern audiences to be able to watch this. I don't the Conan is not one of those movies that I think requires a bunch of special effects. There's been no official announcement relating to the Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer follow-up, but now that Arnie appears to have let the cat out of the bag, we may hear something from the trades fairly soon. Schwarzenegger also confirmed he has spoken to Predator Badlands director Dan Trachtenberg about returning as Dutch in a future movie, and that there's a script for a Commando sequel. Wow, they're going back to a lot of these older movies. And look, do we need newer action films? Yeah, but I'm okay with going back to some of these older films and having some of these actors reprise their roles and come back and seeing what they can do, because sometimes, this actually works out for everyone. So, maybe this will be one of those situations where it works out for everyone and we get to see something great. They did an additional Predator, and the director, Dan Trachtenberg, has been doing a great job of that. Now he wants me to be in the next Predator. We've talked about it. As a matter of fact, Fox Studios has kind of rediscovered Arnold. They've come to me and said, "We want you to do Predator. We just got a script for you to do Commando 2." Well, it's because Arnold Schwarzenegger is still a household name. He's still, relatively fit to do. Obviously, he can't do what he did in his younger days, but I think he could still probably do a pretty good job in some of these movies. Schwarzenegger played the lead role of Major Alan Dutch Schaefer in John McIntyre's original 1987 Predator movie, which still marks the character's only live action appearance in the franchise. However, a cryogenically frozen Dutch did show up in an epilogue scene from the animated Killer of Killers movie, along with Danny Glover's Lieutenant Mike Harrigan from Predator 2, 1990, and Amber Midthunder's Naru from Prey 2022. Wow, man, 1990. Good grief, man. That is so crazy how long the career of Arnold Schwarzenegger has spanned. From 1980, pretty much, all the way up till now. The dude is still going, still showing up every now and again in some things. That's crazy. Trachtenberg has previously revealed that he reached out to Schwarzenegger to get his approval to use his likeness in the scene, and later said that he would be interested in cooking some stuff up for the actor in a future project. This was before the filmmaker signed a deal with Paramount Pictures, but Trachtenberg recently clarified that this doesn't mean he won't helm another Predator movie. So he's leaving that on the table. I am simultaneously figuring out all of the next steps for the Predator franchise. I'm in this moment that I was in when Prey came out, where I was like, what do I do next? And got very excited about a Predator protagonist and got very excited about an animated movie with multiple time periods, and then they just happened to go at the same time. And so that's where I am. That's where I'm at with Predator now. It's, oh my God, there's so many exciting things we can do, he added. But also now I have this deal at Paramount where I'm thrilled and they are thrilled to make some of the original movies that I've always had in my head and heart. Paramount is really trying to make a push toward putting out a bunch of movies. And I know they've said that. This is, I'd be interested to see what they do with this. It's gonna turn out one or two ways. There's no mid with this. There's no it's either gonna be enjoyable, not necessarily great, but enjoyable to the point where people like me that grew up on these movies are like, yo, I like this, or it's gonna fail. I don't think you can have an in between with this movie. So we'll see where this goes.